DARPA program manager quite literally invents tomorrow.
We are thinking about innovation unconstrained. Where can we go?
Predict what is emerging as threats.
We're looking for the applications that seem impossible.
That passion will be saving lives 5, 10, 15 years from now.
Coming to work every day and being humbled by that.
The innovation and collaboration, it's a team effort.
We're not builders of the ultimate technology.
It's the engineers and scientists at the companies and universities that we fund that ultimately are going to bend metal and write code and deliver these capabilities to the warfighters.
DARPA is not one person or one place. It's a collection of people that are excited about moving technology forward.
Welcome back, everyone. Please find your seat and let's dive right back in. We hope you enjoyed lunch, but there's lots more in store. Over the course of the day, you've gotten lots of information sent your way on how to translate your interested ideas and expertise to DARPA. To dive a little deeper into that, we're offering an interactive workshop on how to craft your initial outreach to DARPA using the Heilmeier Catechism framework. For those of you joining us online, please hop onto the virtual session. You'll be receiving a Zoom link to access that session separately. And those of you that are interested in the Innovation Fellowship with DARPA, a separate meeting is also happening concurrently with DARPA Innovation Fellow James Verlez in room 232. So please choose the session that best fits your interest.
Let's come on up. Actually, this isn't a panel. This is more of a workshop. So we're going to make you do some work here rather than it being a one-way street. So let me explain what we're doing here and why. This is something that we've started doing, I think, for only the past couple DARPA Connects, and I think there's value in it. We've been talking at you all morning about DARPA's history, tips and tricks for success, about the Heilmeier Catechism. This is a time to practice it and to get live feedback from program managers on how you're writing your questions. So we have a scenario, the way this is going to work. We have a made-up scenario. Okay, so don't read too much into this. And also, you're at liberty to make things up here, right? Not everyone in the room is going to be an expert at solving world hunger. We recognize that.
We all are. You know,
except for up here we are. Right. So let me read through this, right? Because this is important to grasp what we're trying to do. So imagine that you get to completely rethink how humanity addresses hunger. Okay. You have all your current things in place, current food production systems, networks for distribution, aid programs, etc. But you have a clean slate. So think, what could a DARPA solution be to solving world hunger? For the moment, pretend you're not constrained by geopolitical boundaries. All right, so that's a constraint we will lift for you. And we want you to consider innovative technologies. DARPA does technology, right, not sort of political constructs. So think about some, you can feel free, again, to make things up in food production, storage, distro policy, and, social, technological, and ecological approaches. You can have an entirely new or sort of piece together from existing solutions. Just get creative. The point here is not to solve world hunger today in the next 19 minutes. The point is to practice the Heilmeier questions 1 through 4. And so what's going to happen here is I want, everyone, so there's not too much shuffling in the room, to get with your nearest neighbors, 3, 4, 5 people at a team, and someone get out a piece of paper and try to write your H1, your H2, your H3, and your H4. So the room should get loud, and the folks up here on stage are all program managers are going to be walking around the room randomly, listening in on your conversations. Feel free to call them in to ask for their feedback on something you're iterating on. And then at the end of all of it, we're going to come back here for like the last 5 minutes and give you some feedback collectively about what we observed, the pros and cons, and hopefully we can all make this into a nice learning experience. So I'm going to leave this slide up, which has, if you haven't already memorized the first 4 Heilmeier questions, we've got them listed here, along with the challenge problem or question. Again, feel free to make up the technology. It's more about how you structure the questions. And we are here to help, to facilitate. I'll be wandering around the room as well. I think this is a good after lunch activity so that everyone doesn't just fall asleep. So we're going to stop talking. Please, everyone, turn to your neighbors, get chatting, and come up with some awesome Heilmeiers. We'll be circulating through the room. We'll check back with you in about 13, 14 minutes. Yeah, let's program managers come on back up to the stage, please. I know time flies when you're having fun, but we have to wrap up and move on. Okay, where'd everyone go? There we go. All right. All right, so hopefully that was a useful exercise. I know it's a little bit chaotic. I think one of the things you realize right off the bat is it's hard to write Heilmeier questions. And the other thing that I picked up, and we'll kind of open it up for feedback, a theme that I noticed was that the problem is not perfectly defined. And I saw a number of groups just kind of spinning their wheels and getting caught up in, well, what is the problem? This is, when you read a BAA, we try to make it as crystal clear as possible, but we can't do that so that everyone reading it can get inside our head and know exactly what we are thinking. So you're going to encounter this in the real world. And my advice to you is, which I gave a team over here, was we talked earlier about putting your stake in the ground, saying this is what I am going to do to solve the problem as I understand it. Just be confident in your direction and make it clear and go with it. The BAAs will not always be perfectly clear. So I think we saw a little bit of that just in this brief exercise. But let's kind of go right down the list here. Tiffany, we'll start with you. What did you notice? What things did you pick up on?
So first of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody because you all tried, and that's just really great. So what did I see? I saw that the first draft is the hardest, to bastardize Sheryl Crow here. Yes, but it is in fact the hardest. And I had a couple conversations with some people where they're like, here's my H1. And I was like, great, now make it pithier. So thank you for trying. The first draft is the hardest, and concise, just be concise.
At least what I was offering to a lot of groups that would sort of go towards what Andy was talking about is they are numbered, but they do not need to be done in order. And I think that a lot of folks were struggling because they didn't know, like they didn't approach it from what they said, hey, I have a great idea for world hunger, not necessarily what the state of play is today. I think starting on 2 was a good way to really help you get down this path as quickly as possible. And I never start on each one, ever.
Yeah, you write the conclusion first. Yeah. So what I like about these is I think you guys all figured out that there's this really fun thing. It's really easy to ask questions and it's really hard to answer them, which is my favorite, right? So if you look at H2 and H3, how is it done today? Yeah, what's it? Right? So what is it? Right? And that's in the H1 piece. And I think what was really interesting to watch people struggle with, right, was, well, am I just restating the BAA? The it is to solve world hunger. Right. And so thinking about how to transform that into where the it that you're seeking to achieve meets a set of measurable and articulated objectives, right, in terms of what the impact is going to be on the world. And I think you guys all did a great job, like you guys all tried, right, to basically do that translation between what is the thing that I am doing that has an observable impact, really the language of capability, by just saying, I'm going to build a technology. Great, right? And so I think watching you guys kind of go through and wrestle with that translation was really cool to see.
I would say that the whole thing. So first of all, thanks for your good humor, because this problem was in fact a trap, right?
Yeah, it's a trap.
And the biggest part of the trap is that it looks like the H1 has been answered for you.
Yes.
And so this is the same kind of trap that we wrestle with and are posed. And the I think a good way into something like that is seeing if you can come up with a figure of merit, because we told you to imagine that you can do anything you want. And presume anything and imagine any technology, but that's really to say none of that matters until you've figured out what the figure of merit is. And as essentially well-educated, well-read people, we expect you to, just on the basis of that, figure out like, what was the issue? Was it access to calories? Was it calories metabolized? Was it the ability to, was it lack of quality audio amplification? Was that the figure of merit? Is it gain? And so if you think about what you're going to measure and how you're going to show you're successful, that the H points kind of flow from that.
All right. Well, we do need to move on, but everyone in the room got an E for effort. So thank you for trying. Hopefully that was useful for you.